Oops. Turn the mic. Let me give it about 1 minute. You know, there are sometimes that I really dislike my job in the sense of I would always like to talk about fun things with you guys and bring hope. And I'm not saying that's not the purpose of this, but the amount of pain it causes me to tell these stories to you guys sometimes is, hey, what's up, Denise? The amount of pain it takes to tell these stories sometimes is taxing. That's why I can't do stuff like this all the time. But today and tomorrow I'm gonna avoid. But this live and tomorrow's live are joined together. Today I'm gonna show you what the problem is. I'm gonna point out what it does to people like me. Certain political philosophies, but normal folk don't think like that. They don't think that their words have power, and so be patient with me with doing this live, because I've got to say things the right way. And if something comes out wrong, I apologize ahead of time. So I guess we can start. I don't think there's hey, what's up, Anna? All right. Hi, my name is Daryl Phillips, owner of Warpology Gaming. What we do here is listen to you talk. Hope everybody had a good night's sleep last night, and I hope that that you guys are having a great day today. You know, I do a lot of studying about how to make my videos better and how to do better graphics design. What are the new trends? Those are fun things. I also do studying on what's going on in the world, especially during the presidential election. I don't pay attention to politics any other time but the presidential year. And it's a good thing that I do, because sometimes subjects come up that are very painful for me to talk about, but they're necessary, absolutely vital. And this one's a hard one. There's going to be a few people that probably disagree with me and have no sympathy whatsoever. There's going to be a few people who have a lot of sympathy. All I want you guys to know is, I want you coming out with knowledge. But before I start talking, like, subscribe, share, follow if you're on Instagram. if you're from Instagram, but subscribe to my channel. It really helps me. Share with other people. That helps get the word out. Especially share, because there's no way I can get the message out to everybody. For one thing, y'all gonna make me walk everywhere, really? Hi, I'm from Texas. Hi, Maine person or Pennsylvania person. Just kidding. I do talk to a lot of people in the DFW area, actually. In fact, Anna on there, she doesn't live particularly a long ways away, as comparatively so to some of you. She's from Garland or whatever. But Denise, however, I love you, Denise, but I ain't swimming to your house, okay? Just saying. She lives in Brazil. She's gonna be moving to the United States at some point. But she came to visit me for 9 days around my birthday time, and then she'll be coming again next year for about a month. But so yes, I'm stalling. Okay, this is not easy for me to talk about. I'm trying to come up with words that aren't going to be, one, offensive, two, that are going to be informational. So, this assassin that tried to kill Donald Trump, they say that he was a loner, that he didn't have very many friends. In fact, I feel sorry for this YouTube channel. He had a shirt on with the name of this YouTube channel that he watches that is for hunting. And I just went to that YouTube channel, and that they have 1.7 million subscribers, so they're a big channel. And he had to do a video saying, I'm not responsible. I have no association with this person. So it sucks when you have to do videos that you didn't mean to do. But he was wearing his YouTube shirt. It's unbelievable. Kid was 20 years old, graduated in 22, and he was bullied. That's today's discussion from the beginning. Let's start with the bullying. Yes, he was a Biden supporter, and I'll get to that in a little bit, which is why this is so nefarious. So, bullying. Does Daryl know anything about bullying? Yup. From the age of 16 to 17, I was bullied, and I mean bullied. I had everything done to me. And because I had bipolar disorder and PTSD, it affected me even worse. I'm going to tell you guys a few things about me from my past that aren't particularly the kindest things I've ever said about myself. And you're going to look at me differently. I hope you guys know I'm not like that anymore. So, I was bullied so bad and I felt defenseless. I'm not a fighter. I don't fight people. And I especially around the age of 12, when I really found out how badly I was abused. There's a whole bunch of things that I can explain to you now that I couldn't explain to you then, why I disliked so much. For example, I didn't like spankings. And I don't mean like nobody likes to be spanked. I mean like my father would give me a choice in punishments, and I would choose grounding. And it never made sense to my father why I didn't just get the dang punishment over with, so I wouldn't have to deal with it anymore and I could go with my friends. I loathed spanking. Okay? Because I was abused. Whenever I would get in a confrontation with somebody, there was this sick feeling inside me I can't even begin to understand, and I would feel frozen. I couldn't do anything. All right? I felt powerless, as you can imagine. And I just kept putting up with it. One fight back. Then I got in my first fight. And I didn't understand this at the time. I thought I was in deep trouble. And I go home, and my father looks at me and says, "It's about time." Well, I thought as a Christian, you weren't supposed to fight. I thought you were supposed to turn the other cheek. Both misinterpreted verses. Disgusting. But I didn't understand the Bible that well. And so that's what I thought you were supposed to do. So I thought I was supposed to just take it. Well, I can tell you, to those Christians out there, God did not send his son to die on the cross for you to take abuse. That is not what he did. So if you think that God expects you to take abuse all the time, that is not a true statement. That's insanity. He says, if at all possible, live in peace. So I didn't get punished. I didn't get punished for my first fight. I've been in 4 fights, actually. The second fight I've ever been into was, unless I was drunk. This is the second fight. If I was drunk, then that took away all the inhibitions, so I was no longer fearful. I didn't have the adrenaline rush. I didn't feel sick, and I could fight somebody without any fear. I could do what a normal human does. Fight them defend yourself. But that was the day that I got hit over the head with a brick. Then there's the third fight. That would be, was that the jail one? Oh no. The third fight was the brick one. The second fight was so stupid. Sometimes you're dumb. I got in a fight with Will once over literally the dumbest thing on the history of ever of fights. Me and Will laugh about it to this day. We can't even believe that happened. It was so silly and so stupid, and we fought over it. Got a physical altercation. So stupid. But the fourth fight, the last one, was when I was in jail. And this is a perfect description of what happens to me. Like, why I'm not a fighter. I tried to talk myself out of fights and try to use reason and knowledge and things like that to try to be that way, which is what you're supposed to do. As a Christian, that is what you're supposed to do. But if you're in a situation where you're trapped, God doesn't tell you, well, you can't fight back, got to get raped. God has never said that in his life. In fact, I think he's pretty sure, I'm pretty sure that he has no problem with an evildoer being destroyed. No problem. The evildoer is going to come into your house and rob you and then try to kill you or something like that. That person got what they got because they were evil, not because you were evil. You were defending yourself. So no, there's no sin in defending yourself. So in this case, in jail, that's what happened. They thought I was a little Bible-believing little punk. And I can show you guys the police report. I kept it as a prize. Because I was quite proud of myself. I was sick as a dog when it happened because I told you I don't like adrenaline. I don't like the way it makes me feel. It makes me feel sick to my stomach. I don't like the feeling of vulnerability. I don't like that. It makes me feel nervous. It's part of the PTSD. All right. I shattered that dude tried to hit me. Thank God I had fast reflexes. Even with my legs messed up right now, you're not just going to be able to hit me straight. I'm very good at that. And Will, speaking of Will, he taught me Kung Fu. And so you're not just going to be able to hit me straight. Well, anyway, he missed me the first time. I mean, I saw his fist go right before my eyes. Almost could have broke my nose. And then I knew he was going to go in for the second hit. And before he could even get that hit off, my fist was already coming around, and I landed it right here. I crushed his orbital bone. I completely shattered this thing in one hit. Trust me, the police report talks about it. There was a fist mark in his face because he thought I was weak. I had been picked on for so long, and I never fought back. But I learned how to fight back. Will taught me how to martial arts, and I learned how to use apologetics to fight back against people attacking my Christianity, my God, my Jesus. And so I can defend Christianity like that. And I can defend pretty much anything, any arguments now. And in fact, I'm having to defend people with mental illness, and that's the point of this right here. I'm going to do something that some of you, do not turn off my live. Listen to the whole thing before you get mad. Okay? All right? I know everybody's mad at that would-be assassin, but let's get a couple things straight. He's dead. You ask yourself this question: is it right for him to continue to be bullied after he's dead? I'll let you answer that. The answer is no. He clearly was affected by it. And I'll get to that in a minute too, because I'm going to tell you what that bullying did to me in a minute. It does something to you. Yeah, he wasn't normal. Nobody just gets on a roof and shoots at the former president of the United States. Doesn't happen. This was not an agenda. His dad bought the gun 2 days before he did it. This was nothing. So it was not directly linked to the liberals, but I'm going to show you how it was indirectly linked to the liberals. So it wasn't an actual thing that they tried to do. Not like hired him or something. No, he was a 20-year-old messed up kid. And think about it from his perspective. They've been saying on the news, the liberal media has been saying on the news how Trump is a bully. Trump is a bad man. Trump is like Hitler. Trump is a bad man. Trump is like Hitler. Well, from his messed up mind, he was going to get rid of the big bully. That's how we think. That's how people think like that. He couldn't defend himself against the bullies from school, so he was going to save everybody. He was going to be a hero. And you can thank that to the liberal media. They are as much to blame for this. Biden won't take any responsibility for his rhetoric, calling him Hitler. And he got into a messed up kid's head. And he took a gun. He tried to shoot somebody very important. And for you liberals that are like, oh darn, he missed, let me explain to you what would have happened. Let's bring this in the real. I guarantee you there would have been civil war after that. If you think I'm playing, I know so many people right now that are ready to jump. You better be lucky he missed his mark. Because isn't that the liberals that don't believe in guns? Yeah, you guys don't believe in guns, right? Well, we do. Just saying. How you gonna defend yourself? You gonna throw a pencil at our face? So dumb. You guys ought to watch MSNBC. What a piece of crap network. MSNBC. Just, they're revolting. Revolting, I tell you. The day of the assassination, they're talking about, let's tone back the language. 3 days later, they're talking about how well, it's Trump's fault. Did you guys know that? It's Trump's fault he almost got killed. No, motherfucker. It was a sick kid who, yes, it is known now that when he was 17, before he could even vote, he pledged $15 to the Biden campaign the day he was inaugurated. So he was a liberal. He believed in the rhetoric. He believed in Biden. Why does that matter? So many reasons why that matters. But let's discuss this kid's mind frame for a second. You guys look at me, right? It's like, well, Daryl, you're not like that. Yeah, I'm not like that now. I'm not like that now. Because I worked on my life and I dealt with my issues and I dealt with my anger, and I'm friends with many of the people who bullied me. So yeah, I worked on myself. But in 1997, 1996, 1997, I wanted every single human being at that school dead. And I'm not really playing. It does something to you. It pushes you to the edge. But see, I wasn't violent. Not really. I was tired of being defenseless. Had I been violent, I could have committed an act like that. Oh, yes. Absolutely. Without question. I could have committed a school shooting. My cousin Christy, who has a very sick son, wrote an article right around the time of one of the last school shootings. It was a couple years ago. One of the school shootings fairly recently. And she wrote a blog post, a very good blog post, about how, as a mother, she stands in a world where she fears for the safety of her own son. But then she knows that she also knows that her son is capable of doing something like that. See, being understanding of one another from their perspective is not quite as easy as that make it sound, is it? That means you have to put yourself in their place, and sometimes it's a scary place. So I want you guys to put yourself in my place. In 1996, 1997, I felt like nobody gave a crap about me. That kid that did this felt like nobody gave a crap about him. He just wanted to be noticed. So did I. There's no difference between me and that kid. No difference, I'm telling you. Not back then. God, am I really 45? God, that was a long time ago. Holy crap. Why? I don't understand. It's been almost 30 years since that. It's so sad. But anyway, I mean, there are things, I don't remember some things because I would black out a lot back then. But I guess my mom told me, when I was married, I had a conversation with her. She goes, Daryl, don't you remember you wanted to put a bomb in the school? One time, and my mom knew I was sick. Just absolutely sick. I needed help. She didn't have it. She was at her wit's end. That's one thing that Christy talks about a lot about my mom. You know, I brought butcher knives to school once. I wanted to hurt those bullies bad. I didn't know how to fight. I didn't know anything about fighting in it. And I didn't like fighting anyway. I just wanted it to go away. Those bullies, my mom had bought me a $110 Dallas Cowboys starter jacket. They put trumpet oil all over it and threw it in the garbage. I love that jacket. These are just things that they did to me. And the bullying literally lasted until the day I left to go to the Miller Dwan Hospital. The last day when I was at school. And by the way, if you're from Luck, Wisconsin, and you're watching this, I don't blame you. I don't feel that way anymore. I know you guys, none of you guys got it. Hell, I didn't get it. So I'm telling this story to let people know that this happens to many kids. And that some of these things, these terrible tragedies that happen, are preventable. They're preventable, guys. So don't think that I'm mad at you guys still, because I'm not even close. And most of you guys know that I was mad at you anyway. So the last week when I was at school, Lisa had broke up with me, and that was already a hellish week. In fact, it was so bad I could only go to half days. I couldn't even make it to 12 o'clock. I wanted to go home. I wanted to crawl in a hole and hide. And something had happened. So I had how do I explain this story? I guess I actually have to go before this. I have to go a couple weeks before this. So I ran away from home. Okay, so this is the kind of person I was back then. I cared about nothing. I did whatever I wanted. I had no rule, no law, nothing. I did not care. I no longer cared about my parents, no longer cared about punishment, no longer cared about the consequences, nothing. By the end there, I was completely gone. I was gone. I was not even Daryl. I wasn't anything. Anyway, I ended up getting in-school suspension because I had run away and skipped school. And there's like 3 days of it. Well, on that third day, Lisa didn't show up to school that day, and she had been sick with something. And I called her, and of course, I'm thinking maybe she's pregnant. Yeah, that would have been awesome, wouldn't it? No, it wasn't. It wasn't that. But her parents found out the hard way that that their daughter was no longer virgin. Let's just say it that way. It wasn't fun. But before that, though, so I was worried about Lisa all day. And I was planning on going straight to her house. I knew I wasn't supposed to. Didn't care. You couldn't stop me. There's nothing you were going to do to stop me. If you were going to tell me if I wanted to do it, I was going to do it. There wasn't anything you were going to do. Call the cops. I don't care. I mean, I did not care. My mom had to call the cops on me several times to get me home. 3 I can count them off the top of my head. So I got a ride from Sean. He drove me to Lisa's house. Well, before this, I decided I was going to leave in-school suspension early. I decided I needed a break. And I remember her name, Mrs. Nelson, told me, Dale, you can't leave. I said, yeah, I can. I have 2 feet. I can have 2 legs. Yes, I can. I'm going to walk right out here and leave. The fuck are you talking about? What are you going to do about it? I literally was like that. And she said, I'm not going to let you leave. I said, if you get in my way, and okay, guys, I'm going to say this next thing, but you need to understand I was not in my right mind. Okay? This is not how I am. Was I even... I can't even remember. No, I guess I had been diagnosed by that point. I'd only been diagnosed 3 weeks by bipolar. But what the hell does that mean? I didn't even understand bipolar. I looked at Mrs. Nelson in the eyes, and I literally told her, if you get in my way, I'm going to break every bone in your body. Do you understand? Yeah, not real good. I knew that was going to be instant suspension, if not expulsion. I cared not. Didn't care about anything. Anyway, I got to Lisa's house and my insane ass. And oh, hey, y'all gonna have to wait 1 second. 1 second. There's a thunderstorm coming in. I got to get the chairs in. 1 second, guys. 1 second. Pause for station identification. I hate not being able to walk. Oh, shit. Never mind. Too late. Too late to apologize. Oh, my God. Those chairs are soaked. I didn't even hear the rain. Why didn't y'all warn me about the rain, dude? So, I get over to Lisa's house. And I'm over there for a second, for a little bit. And I get a call from the police. They asked me if I was armed. Am I armed? No. The fuck? They said, we're coming there. We want you to come outside with your hands up and blah, blah, blah. And I told Lisa, Lisa's like, what the fuck is going on? I had no idea. My mom, by the way, my mom was so angry about this, not at me, was so angry about this whole thing. Somewhere, someone, who knows, got their, oh, it'll be coming, Anna. Somewhere along the line, wires got crossed, and I mean badly crossed. Someone told the police that I had a gun and I was going to kill Lisa and then kill myself. I'm dead serious. This happened. Well, anyway, I left in a cop car and went home. And my mom was so angry with the police. Like, how could you be so stupid as to say that over the damn radio? So all of Luck, Wisconsin heard that. A couple days later, I ended up getting so depressed that I was threatening to kill myself and all sorts of shit. And I ended up going to Millard One Hospital for a week. That was the first time I went there. And while I was in there, Lisa broke up with me. Yeah. Devastating. I thought for sure I'll just convince her to get back with me, blah, blah, blah. Nope. Not only had she broke up with me, she was an absolute bitch to me. And I don't know what I did. I have no idea. And then I realized her friends, some of the ones that did not like me, were very happy about her not being with me. And then it was awful. Let's just say it this way. That week was awful. I will never forget that week. That was the last week I went to school, where I could hear people behind me doing the sounds of clicking noises like from a gun. Because like I said, They messed up bad. So everybody at that school thought I had done that. Nobody believed me, of course. And of course it wasn't true. I had no gun. Doesn't matter. That's why once something is said out of your mouth, it matters. Oh, it matters. Once you accuse somebody of something, it matters. So, for example, when you accuse someone of being a narcissist and other people see you being accused of it, it matters. Or being called I won't even say the word that I was called, the F word for a gay person. Me and Sean were called gay boys. The entire time I was at school. Just stuff like that. And so they would end up pushing me, in my opinion, into the mental hospital. Now, what would it have happened? Probably. But do you know that for a fact? No, I don't. And so it helped hurry along my psychosis to the point where I told my parents that if you make me go back to school, you'll never see me again. You have to give me help now. I don't want to be here anymore. That's why I threatened my parents with that, because I was getting the most awful things happen to me. The only person that was there for me in the hospital was Sean. Everybody else, just crazy Daryl. There's still people probably right now that won't say it to my face, but they know what happened and they still believe they did it. And that's the way I started off my adult life. I don't know what happened to this kid to make him get up on top of a roof and shoot and hit the former president of the United States. But I know that he's dead. It's so sad to me. People understand, they will sit there and look up cat videos on cats playing keyboards or guitars because it's fun and entertaining, but they will not look up what it does to us, people like me, when you start calling me names. What it does to my insides, even now. And just because I've worked on my issues, just because I know how to deal with it now, doesn't mean you still don't do it. And our enemy, everyone's enemy, not just people with mental illness, but going to the subject, I want to start talking about the next 2 days. I'm going to start with what our enemy's tactics are, what they do to us. Then tomorrow I'm going to show you how to defeat it. I wanted to start out with that because I wanted you to understand that some of you are really angry with the guy who did that. Please don't be anymore. He's dead. Do not let the sun go down upon your anger. And he had issues. I can tell you so much more about me. But I can tell you something. The last thing I'm going to say about this particular thing is I know that when I'm cornered, my mind switches. I'm in defense mode, and I want you to get out of here. I want you to get out of my face, and I want you to get away from me. That's what happened to the guy in jail. He cornered me between two beds and the wall. That was his mistake. And he got every bit of my strength, anger, and hatred. And a little extra because I had to be in Minnesota in the first damn place. I hate that place. My mom, before I got diagnosed with bipolar, did the same thing. She got it from you too. If you corner me, if you corner Sophia, you're going to get it. If I ask you to move out of my way, move out of my way. Because if you don't, I'm going to move you out of my way. To this day. And I will not change that because that's not right. I don't corner you. You don't corner me. Let's just make a deal there. It's my self-defense mechanism, and I will keep it. And I do not apologize to you for it. I don't. Now, the difference between me now and me then is I know how to get a person to calm down before they start cornering me and crap. Before I didn't even know myself. But you have the right to your space. When I ask you to leave me alone and you continue to pester me and bother me and call me names and do this stuff and whatever it is, and I ask you to leave me alone, there's a reason why I'm asking you to leave me alone, because I know Daryl now. And Daryl is warning you that you are crossing a line that cannot be uncrossed, and I will help you cross it. We will cross it together. It's how I defend myself. I will never again be bullied. I will never again let my anger be inside of me so deeply that I hate people. I don't want to be like that. But that kid never got a chance. Now he's dead. What he did was bad. It was evil. But let's discuss the person and the people that he supported. Why he could be so manipulated by the Liberal Party. Well, let's discuss the point one. And I've heard it from them too. Other people with mental illness don't want to vote for Republicans because they're so afraid that SSI is going to be taken away from them. Well, that's why I'm here, to teach you how to take care of yourself so you don't have to worry about SSI. And that's the hook of SSI. That is a liberal policy, by the way. That is a progressive thing that was invented during the time of FDR during World War II. It's a way for you to be dependent upon the government. That's why it's so bad. Because people feel like you're taking away their livelihood. Well, no crap, you are. And nobody wants to be homeless. Well, let's try to work on your problems and get you a job. That's why I would want to provide people jobs. I got good news on that front, by the way. I got some great news, and I told Ann I was going to say it on here. I'm going to be hiring soon. Yeah, I'm getting ready. Oh yeah, baby. So there are solutions to all these problems, but liberals don't want you to have your own solutions. They want you to go to experts for the solutions. And if you're not going to experts, you're stupid, you're dumb, they will sling names at you. Daryl, you're really not getting help. Actually, Daryl, you're not getting counseling. Don't you think? I'm telling you, 4 people did not show up to that coffee shop because they found out I wasn't getting in counseling and I wasn't getting on meds. That happened recently. Even though you guys can look at me and I'm just fine. I'm so just fine, I have a business surrounding around it. But people have been told that we are scary people when they have no idea what the hell they're talking about. They can't even describe a single symptom of bipolar disorder, but yet you're scared of me. You can't even tell me when I'm on a manic high, yet you're scared of me. You can't even tell me when I'm depressed, yet you're scared of me. That sounds more like a sheeple than a person. That you have listened to somebody, you took their advice, and now nobody's advice is right. So you didn't even bother to examine to see if what they said was true. I am living proof that none of that crap is true. I wish I had been able to talk to that boy, that young man. Maybe this terrible tragedy would not have happened. It could have been a worse tragedy. And in reality, I hate saying this, but it almost seems like the story of Joseph, where Joseph was sold into slavery. All this bad happened to him, and Joseph had the right perspective, saying that had I not been here, I would not have been able to save you. God can turn tragedy into terrible evil deeds into, or excuse me, let me put it this way: there's no such thing as doing evil deeds to get good. God can turn a tragedy, something bad, and make it into something good. Only God can do that, though. Sorry, atheists. It's just the way it is. So that's what we try to do. I had a bunch of bad stuff happen. I had a bunch of bad stuff happen to me, and I did a bunch of bad stuff. I was on the streets. I was involved in prostitution. I learned so much stuff in this process that's the guy you're talking to. That's why people were just really shocked when they found out I don't actually have an education. They're like, "You have never been to college?" No, I haven't been to college. Because guess what? My brain works without a professor. People are so damn dependent on things that they don't need to be. So instead of saving their money, they'll spend $100,000 to go be this or that. And then they end up dropping out and owing the government $100,000. It's just craziness. Or it takes them how many ever years to become what they need to be, but they could have. Now, in the case of some subjects, medical field, you don't want a doctor without a license, clearly. But there are some subjects, you don't need a license. You choose to get one. It makes you feel better. Maybe so you can go out with your friends and get drunk at the Phi Beta Kappa club. It's not my thing. I want to learn. I want to be educated, and I want to educate you guys about this stuff, because you guys need to understand there are consequences to actions. That bullies are so bad because of stuff like this. And those of you who hold the opinion that, well, Daryl, you're just giving an excuse, that kid needed to toughen up his skin. Some of us had cigarettes burned on our skin. Should I have toughened up my skin then? What a cold-hearted way to look at the world. Not everybody is bullied because they're wimps. Some people are just, they have a low self-esteem. And who knows what causes it sometimes. Maybe it is a mental illness. Maybe it is from being abused. I know someone right now, I'm not going to name that person's name, that we knew that they were being abused at home, and they were the opposite of me. They didn't take abuse. In fact, this person swung at the principal. Yeah. I became passive aggressive. Those sorts of things are all signs of just mental and verbal abuse. And in the case of, for example, Anna's on here right now, and spiritual abuse, passive aggressiveness, feeling like you're being cornered and attacked when you're not really being cornered and attacked, always being defensive of other people. That's all signs of mental, even physical abuse. It's just the signs of abuse. It takes a long time to get over. And PTSD is usually the common result of those things, especially when it's young. There are three common things that fear of abandonment, for example, come from. They come from bipolar disorder, PTSD, and something traumatic when you're younger. And you can do deadly things. You can do dangerous things. You can hurt people. You can hurt people. And it's not your fault in the sense that you didn't mean to. But if you feel like you're being cornered and you're like that, and when you feel weak, you want to stop and you will end it quite literally. And maybe you don't even know you did it. I mean, I've done that before. Anna and I have more in common than she thinks that we do. Way more in common. Way more in common. And I felt weak. I felt vulnerable. Didn't like fighting. I don't like fighting now. I like using my words to defend my arguments. But let me give you a warning. Okay? Because I'm going to get off here. I just wanted to let you guys know that story. If you guys want to know more about what happened to me, you're more than welcome to answer questions, or ask questions. I will answer them. I don't hide from my past. But this hasn't been like something that's apropos to anything. But now it is. I told you I'm not just going to tell you guys stories just to tell you guys stories. I want you guys to learn from it. But it's hard to change. It's hard to believe in yourself. Especially when you got so many people out there with all these different belief systems now. But our enemy has telltale signs that they do not want you to succeed. And you need to be able to understand that. In fact, I'm thinking this might be a 3-day live. This might be today, tomorrow, because there's so much that you guys need to know. I wanted to tell you guys that story because it's important. Because I want you guys to know the experience that I have with this subject and why I loathe liberals for what they believe in. They're creating monsters in people that are good because they're sick. They're taking advantage of sick people. They tell us lies like, well, conservatives and Christians don't care about you. That is a lie. It's a disgusting lie too, by the way. Don't you ever freaking tell me that my mother never cared about me. Ever. God, that makes me angry to think that they would have me believe something like that. But I've changed my life and I see things clearly now. I didn't back then. I was very confused. We fight an enemy who will literally use chameleon tactics to change their words, to soften their tone, to make it not. They think they are so smart. And they loathe talking to me. Every liberal I've ever talked to hates talking to me because I see straight through it. I literally lived on the streets. I've seen games like this. These college graduates that come out and they claim to be liberal, whatever this or that, progressive, whatever it is. Yeah, we learned that in college. I learned mine on the streets. You let me know who had the better education of their subject. I mean, there are people on the streets so conniving and so good at double talking you. They could get a woman with white gloves to buy a ketchup popsicle. They could get an Eskimo to buy ice. People are so good on the street sometimes with their mouth. No, man. Me and Duane got an education that's why they try to act kind when they're not, especially in front of other people. They get, but they're not. And I'll prove it tomorrow. What they're actually doing. when Duan sees this, I want him to comment. I want him to add a bunch of stuff about homelessness. Duan, when you see this, you'll see this later because I know you're at work now. When you see this later, I need you to add a bunch of stuff about homelessness and about what they're doing, what they do. Knowledge is power. It's how you use the knowledge that's important, though. Yeah, we are at war. Is it physical? Not yet. Let me rephrase that. Can you avoid the physical part? Yes. Eventually, I'm going to just give you a heads up about the next 2 days. The answer is no. Ask Duan about what happened the year he came here. That street in Minneapolis, that rioted, that was one of my stomping grounds, baby. I used to hang out on that street. That restaurant that you guys see where Duan's eating the food, that was burned down 3 weeks after that photo was taken. Now ask me what war I'm talking about. They used homeless people. They used mentally ill to do that act. Now ask me again what war I'm talking about. And tell me what kind of actions you would have me take. Because Amanda, Sophia's daughter, was in an ambulance. A paramedic was in an ambulance, having her ambulance shaken almost all the way over. And now Amanda is armed to the damn teeth. She has so many guns in her house now. But she was scared that night. So yeah, right now, especially if you live in Texas and places like this, you'll be fine. You won't necessarily have a physical altercation. But if Texas were to secede from the Union, we'll be talking about something else. But we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But right now, tomorrow we're going to discuss, and this is what you guys are going to see tomorrow. Tomorrow we're going to discuss their tactics, the nastiness that they will use to make sure that they embarrass you, make sure that they show how stupid you are. That's what they do. And then I'm going to show you how to counter it. You guys are, if I don't say so myself, and I'll let Duan and other people verify this so I don't sound like an arrogant prick. You guys are in good hands. I'm going to teach you some cool shit. You guys are going to go, wow, on how to counter some of these things that people will come at you with. So, gotta go. I'm gonna get to work. I'm gonna get to doing these videos now. I love you guys. Part 2 will be tomorrow. Remember, like, subscribe, share. Go to bipolarized.net to find out a little bit more about what we do. I'm working on the website. I'm going to be updating that. I want you guys to remember something. I love you guys. I know it's amazing, right? I don't even know you, right? I don't need to know you as a person to know I love who you are. Now let me help you be better than who you are. And for those of you who don't know who you are, well, let's work the steps. Carry your ingredients. Have ambition. Ask the question, do you want to know who you are? Truly are. Not what your parents told you. Not what your friends tell you. Do you really want to know who you are? Do you really want to go into your past and try to figure out, analyze, and figure out why you've made mistakes before? Why you didn't take the job that you maybe thought you would love? Why you stopped trying to be the person you know you want to be? And why you just followed the lemmings, as it were, and didn't trailblaze your own path? If you want to vent that to me, go right ahead. Because then by the time you do that, your head's going to be empty. And you'll be able to accept advice from me and from Dwan and from whoever else, from everybody here. Everybody will give you advice. And then you take that advice, how many ever voices you got, you go out by yourself and you decide which one is the best for you. Maybe it's a combination of little things. Maybe you pull something from me. Maybe you pull something from Dwan. Maybe you pull something from Denise. Maybe you pull something from Anna. Or for Sophia. And then you go, okay, I got the idea. And then you work it. And most importantly, I just told you 5 people right now, you're not alone. Hello? 5 isn't 0. We'll never leave you. Clean your house. You got to fill it with good things. Step through it too. Do stuff inside your box. Get good at it. Become an expert. Do stuff outside your box. Do stuff you never thought you could do. Know yourself better than you've ever thought. And then take a look back, assess the situation, and ask what's next. That's what it is. That's what it is. No more, no less. If you have questions on how do you become happy on all those things, we will discuss. We're going to discuss a whole bunch of stuff. We got a long time together. Am I dead? No. I'll be discussing all sorts of stuff, but the thing you should need to be doing is the ingredients and steps. Go back, watch my videos. I'm going to be putting up 10 more videos. I'm working on them now. I'm finishing up the last touches of them, and then I'll be putting up a video every 2 weeks about the ingredients and the steps for 5 months. I can't speak for everybody, but I love you guys. But I know this, life is fleeting. You are not promised your next breath. You're just not. So take now to do things better than you ever did them. Until tomorrow, it's going to be part 2 of this. We're going to be learning about our enemy. And he is vicious, she is vicious. And yes, there's a difference between a boy and a girl, so yes, I said he and she. Until tomorrow, may the Lord light guide you in all things. Goodbye.